dead across the room, but I am trying. Stuck beneath the spinning glow of a familiar hue, struck by your impression like all of those next to you, but I will try to stand and make it down the hall, but in the sound, I'm barely here at all. I wanna meet you at a slow dance, I wanna meet you but it's too soon, I wanna meet you but I can't speak, or dead across the room. I wanna meet you at a slow dance, I wanna meet you but it's too soon, I wanna meet you but I can't speak, or dead across the room, but I am trying so hard to meet you where you are. I wanna meet you at a slow dance, I wanna meet you but it's too soon, I wanna meet you but I can't speak, or dead across the room. I wanna meet you at a slow dance, I wanna meet you but it's too soon, I wanna meet you but I can't speak, or dead across the room, but I am trying so hard. It's been a while, I've been out on my own. I get a little anxious when you call me on the phone. Somebody said that it fades away, but in the interim it was hard to see that way. It's been a while, I've been out on my own. I'm in denial about living life alone. I said I don't like change, but I'm not afraid. I can't keep it together ever anyway. And when every page is in disarray, I think we'll be okay. I said I don't like change, but I'm not afraid. I can't keep it together ever anyway. And when every page is in disarray, I think we'll be okay that way. I thought I'd change when I got older, but the same year came over and over, and the only change that I could feel was the aging of my bones. And then in one October, when the sidewalk home was covered over, well, I don't know the method, but you pulled right from the loan. It's been a while, I've been out on my own. I'm in denial about living life alone. I said I don't like change, but I'm not afraid. I can't keep it together ever anyway. And when every page is in disarray, I think we'll be okay. I said I don't like change, but I'm not afraid. I can't keep it together ever anyway. And when every page is in disarray, I think we'll be okay that way. Sorry, baby, I just don't know the words or how to conjure it down. Was it really past tense? I heard, or was it present perfect? Maybe we could forget the time you faced that friend without me. Maybe we could go back to mine, pretend it never happened. Oh, when they're always out of time, and they say it will be fine. Well, I just can't find the lines. Oh, I hope I know what to say. just don't know the words. Was it really past tense? I heard. Maybe we could forget the time. Maybe we could go back to mine. Well, I think that I've been drifting without you, drifting. I think that I've been drifting without you, drifting. I think that I've been drifting without you, drifting. I think that I've been drifting without you, drifting. And now I know that you've been gone. It's all you've ever known, a single state of mind. But you won't ever let it go. When you had the answer, when you were there alone, you left the door unopened when you knew that you would want more. Give it up, give it up, give it away. Well, you were barely aware you learned that day. Cut off so much, hardly remained. Well, you knew that there was still a way. This is your only plan. Oh, now this is your only. Now this is your only plan. Oh, now this is yours. And you're right. You force it to yield. You forge it to the lines. You let your callous be your shield, and everyone will say that it all was finished years ago, but you will stay, and you won't ever let it go. When you had the answer, and you were there alone, you left the door unopened when you knew that you would want more. Then again, you found the answer, and you were there alone. You left the door unopened when you knew that you would want more. But each step that you took towards her, well, you took each one alone. And every time you said, my God, how is it up there on that phone? Well, I've been waiting on your feet just to hear you say that I'm not needed. I said I was an honest man. You said I wasn't at all, but I wanted it. Well, I think you're just afraid of the fall, but you won't be there at all. No, you won't be there. And oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. My God, I hope you're falling and you. Oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. It's gonna be the start of what you are. Well, I remember when you said that you hate everything I do. You didn't have a reason, then wish I'd given one to you. And then you would say, oh, my God, I couldn't know what you've been through. Well, I've been waiting on your feet just to hear you say that I'm not needed. I said I was an honest man. You said I wasn't at all, but I wanted it. Well, I think you're just afraid of the fall, but you won't be there at all, or you won't be there. And oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. My God, I hope you're falling and you. Oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. It's gonna be the start of what you are. I said I was an honest man. You said I wasn't at all, but I wanted it. Well, I think you're just afraid of the fall, but you won't be there at all, or you won't be there. And oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. My God, I hope you're falling and you. Oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. It's gonna be the start of what you. Oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. My God, I hope you're falling and you. Oh, my God, I hope you're falling apart. It's gonna be the start of what you are.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 2 of Galaxy Tour Season 14, brought to you by Zealous Racing League. My name is Shim. I'm your host for tonight's race, as I will be for the rest of the races this season. We've got quite a different race from last week. Last week we had Paul Ricard for 65 minutes. This week we have Snetterton for 45 minutes. No mandatory pit stops for our drivers today here at the British Circuit. It's going to be very different strategy-wise for our drivers. Given that there's no mandatory pit stop for our drivers, I would imagine that pretty much everyone's plan going into this race is have one set of tires and have those for the full race length. But managing those tires throughout a whole race is going to be pretty difficult, and especially if you're getting into battles and trying to fight for positions, it's going to eat up your tires a lot faster than it would if you were in clean air. So our drivers are going to need to be smart with their tire management and their race management, because tonight's going to be a completely different beast than it was last week. But here we are currently in free practice right now. Ricardo Rivera holds the top slot in our practice with a 145, a 145.930. He's the only driver currently in practice that has a 45, or a sub 46, I should say. But coming off of a win last week, Larson's going to hope to reclaim another victory this week. Currently, his fastest lap is a 46.212, but he hasn't been setting laps for a while now. He's been just hanging out in the pits during practice. Our drivers will have 15 minutes of qualifying to set the fastest lap they can, so I'm guessing he's just feels pretty comfortable where he's at with the car currently and is just ready to get to practice at this point. Currently in our semi-pro class, Sean Collis has set our fastest time in the semi-pros with a 47. And looks like he just moves back a little ways there. I think Portis just set his lap, a fast lap. And Portis actually with that lap will move into 6th place. But Collis holds his fastest lap by about 0.2 of a second, a 47.240. Beaudry right behind him with a 47.427. It's going to be close within that semi-pro category as it usually is. So it's going to be an epic battle for them today. Currently in the server, we have 28 drivers. Moving down into our rookie category. Currently, Dustin Reed with the fastest lap. Although Chase Gordon, who won the class last week, has joined the server recently, so we still have drivers trickling in. You know, we're 7 minutes out, so we still have a little bit of time before the actual qualifying. And if these drivers did a bit of work this week to try and practice and get their cars ready, they might not need to do as much practice right before the race. I know some drivers are able to do that. As we watch Dustin slide a little bit around in that BMW, he's really scrubbing those rear tires as he moves through the final sector, final turns. And I think he actually goes a little wide there. That might be an invalidated lap. And as he crosses the line, we'll see if it truly is valid or not. Looks like it is, but it's definitely not fast enough to beat his best. And I think if we actually head up a little bit now, I believe Chase Gordon might have just set his lap. Nope, he is still in the pits, but on his way out. A couple drivers that I've been watching in qualifying so far. Pena going off a little bit there on the final turn. But Pena has been setting some really fast laps as he just goes second in qualifying, a 46.1. Nunez has had some excellent laps in qualifying so far after a pretty disappointing start to his race last week. Not to any fault of his own, it was just an incident on track. He had probably one of the best comeback drives last week. Ooh, as he runs into looked like a rookie driver right there who had spun out onto the back straight there. But anyway, Nunez didn't have a great start to his race last week and had a great comeback drive. He's going to be hoping for a better result this week. And really the talk of last week, we watched him for the last few laps. KP, Kenneth Portis, currently 5th in free practice. He's going to hope to get another podium. Just eked out 2nd place last week. We eked out 3rd place last week, barely to Rivera in the last final sections of, laps of the race. And this week, KP is sporting a new livery for that Honda, the Red Dragon livery. Let's see if we can get a good look at that. Looks absolutely excellent, created by none other than fellow racer Matt Lung. It's got the dragon there on the side with the flames coming off the front. Pretty slick looking livery for that Honda, if I don't say so myself. I'm definitely digging it. Think it's my favorite livery of the year so far. Speaking of Matt Lung, he's going to be hoping for a good race this week, driving the Ferrari. We've got 3 minutes and 20 seconds until we get to qualifying, though, and just wanted to take a brief moment to thank you all for all of your support and everything that you guys give to Zealous Racing League. Your views mean a lot to us, and we just hope that you continue to support us in whatever way you can. One of the ways that you can support us best is by liking and subscribing. Helps us get out there on YouTube. And may sound cliche at this point, but it really does make a difference, especially in sim racing content. It can make a huge difference because it is more of a niche. So, um, the more likes and views and everything that we get, the more shares that we get, the better for us. So, would really appreciate a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're interested in joining Zealous Racing League in the future or want to hear more about us, feel free to join our Discord. There should be a link on the homepage of our YouTube channel. That's where you're going to get all the most up-to-date news on Zealous Racing League leagues and fun events. New fastest lap for the session, Ricardo Rivera improves his last time with a 45.857. Looking very rapid in that McLaren tonight. We'll have to see how that all pans out in qualifying as the track is now ramped up quite a bit. I bet since practice has started. Larson hasn't been running too many laps. Pena's just started to run laps again. Nunez is probably repairing the car. Doesn't think it's probably worth it at this point to go back out after the crash into the rookie driver there. It's going to be a very tricky track for our racers to manage this week. Snetterton, being a typical British track, is fairly narrow in most of it, most parts of the track, and there's really only one good line through many of these turns. So it's going to be difficult for our drivers to make moves, to make passes. There are some key zones where you might be able to make some passes coming down this back straight. If you can really manage it well, you can make a move happen on the back straight and into turn 2. After you make the really dicey turn 1, if you can stay close in turn 2, and turn 1 could be a braking zone where a move could happen. I have seen moves also being made on the last turn here, but that's a lot more risky of a move. It closes off fairly quickly, and with that huge sausage curb in the middle, I've seen many a driver bottom out their car on that in the attempt to make the move. And there goes Rivera again, setting another fast lap with a 45.590. That is a really nice looking lap for practice here. He's going to like that one. Hopefully he can replicate that going into quali. And Clifford just going to abort. We only have a few seconds left. We'll watch Dubé. Thank you so much to our good friend JP Belanger. Sent me a bit of a guide on French-Canadian pronunciation because, as you know, I am not great at my French-Canadian names, or French names really, in general. As we watch Shaz cross the finish line here, we got one more driver right behind him. Looks like it's going to be Easton crossing that finish line, and there we go. We'll move into qualifying. Let's hit drive here and watch the drivers go out. Looks like Clifford's going to get out first, and since he's the first driver out of the pit lane, he is the driver we'll watch on his first fast lap. Looks like Belanger is slotting in behind him, or as his pronunciation guide would say, Belanger. I'm probably still butchering that, but we'll see. As Clifford scrubs his tires a little bit, trying to get some warmth in those. Clifford's practice times weren't as good as I expected them to be, given he got second place last week with a good performance against Larson. The key last week was really staying in that slipstream going down the back straight. And once Larson was able to break that, that was really the end of the road there for Clifford. But he did stick with for a good 15-20 minutes or so until the mistakes were made. like I mentioned, Snetterton being a very typical British track, fairly narrow in a lot of parts of the track. I would say, you know, a lot of people are fairly familiar with, let's say, Silverstone. Silverstone is actually, I think, fairly wide compared to a lot of the British tracks that we see, especially in Assetto Corsa Competizione here. We've got Snetterton, Brands Hatch, Oulton Park, Donington, um, all of which are fairly, I would say, narrow. Especially Oulton, not a lot of width in the track there. Anyway, here we go for our first fast lap. Let's go to the onboard as we go. Turn 1 is a very tricky kind of double apex turn for our drivers, and into turn 2, which is a very tight hairpin. Got to get on the brakes hard, rotate the car, and on the gas as early as you can using the runoff. Going down into sector 2 here, about second and third gear there for Clifford. Coming into the infield portion of the track, that's the end of sector 1, into another hairpin here in the infield. Another one where you want to use a little bit of that runoff. Here we are into Hamilton. Really tricky, like quick corner here. Just want to kind of ease off the gas a little bit. Not a lot of braking there. Into another hairpin. Could be a little quicker through there because it opens up a little bit more as we go into the last turn before the back straight there. A lot of the same, coasting mentality there. You don't want to brake too much because you want to maintain as much speed as you can going down the back straight here into what is one of the most difficult zones. You want to brake and keep braking into the turn and then get into first gear, so maybe even second gear, looking at doing that there. As you come into the carousel portion of the track, very easy to hit the sausage curb on the inside of that turn just before the carousel here, before the final turn now, using all the runoff before heading down the start-finish straight. There's Clifford's first lap. Let's see what it's going to be. A 46.2, that's not too bad for a first lap here at Snetterton. Clifford holding the best lap still with Portis and Belanger behind. Lloyd will go into P3. Pena's P4 now. Rivera sets the fastest lap with a 45.9. Let's go to Larson. Where's he currently? He's going on the last turn here. Nunez, P2, just above 46, almost a 45 there. And there's the fastest lap by Christopher Larson, just 5 thousandths faster than Rivera. Looking at the sector times there, if we can, let's look at that sector times there. Rivera looks like had the best final sector. Actually, Nunez has the best final sector overall, but Rivera had a really good final sector, and it was just by the smallest margin that Larson got sectors 1 and 2 from Rivera there to gain P1 provisionally. Dustin Reed currently setting the fastest laps for the rookies with a 49.815. Looks like that BMW is treating him well. Some other rookie drivers looking really good this week. A new driver to the grid this week, Jean. I'm gonna guess that is a French-Canadian name, so apologies if I'm butchering that, but it looks like Zoic Jean. That's how I would pronounce that, at least. Rivera with the fastest lap of 47.97. 45.797, sorry. Let's move back to our friend Larson, and he sets the fastest lap. That's the one he was looking for, 45.385. It's a full about 5 tenths faster. than Rivera. Currently, Beaudry setting the fastest laps for the Semi-Pro League, our Silver Division, with a 47.4 in the McLaren. Looks like the McLaren is a great car for this circuit. Being very technical and has some decent straights, but mostly a technical course with a lot of hairpins. Those mid-engine cars are going to be definitely favored today, along with a car like I would say the BMW, who it's pretty good all around. Let's say the BMW is probably one of the more balanced front-engine cars, but that McLaren really doing some good work here. Looking ahead though, Carlos Flores now, another McLaren driver. He actually just set the fastest time in class while I was talking there. Just missed it with a 46.9. Portis in the pits with a 46 almost flat, just a couple thousandths behind of Nunez. Going to be close qualifying for a lot of our drivers here today. He looked good in practice as well. Collis is really going to be itching for a fast lap. Another McLaren driver. It looks like the McLarens will dominate this race. As we watch Collis, maybe cuts that a little bit too quickly. Maybe wanted to coast through that final turn a little bit more. Belanger moves up. And doesn't look like Collis improves with that last lap. He'll stay P4 in class. Chase Gordon, who won the rookie class last week, looks really good this week as well in that Aston Martin. The 47.912. Improves it just slightly, about 100th or about a 10th. And he'll maintain P1 in class. Another new driver I've seen here on the track is Kaylor Nicholson. Wasn't here last week. Driving the Porsche this season. Larson with another faster lap. Improves on his last about 2/10 now, 45.145. We got 5 minutes left in qualifying. See another driver here, Corey Moten, driving the Lamborghini. A new rookie driver in the Taco Bell Diablo Lamborghini. Nice little tramp stamp on that Lambo. I don't know if you could see it. If not, you can rewind. I'm not going to repeat it. As he takes out one of the pins there. A nice little touch on these British tracks is that they don't have numbered braking markers, except for I think maybe Silverstone does. As we watch Corey just go off track there a little bit. But they don't have numbered braking signs like the distance to the corner. They have just the dashes that are the braking marks. 3 dashes is the furthest away, 2 and then 1. In some ways, it's kind of nice because you don't have to be worrying so much about the number itself. But I know some people don't like them as much because they would like to know like the approximate distance from the corner they should be away before they brake. This doesn't really give it to you, it just gives you that slash mark as we watch Nunez pulling over to the side of the road here. We'll move to watch Ricardo Rivera looking to improve his lap time and challenge Larson there at the front. Ooh, goes off track there. That's going to invalidate the lap. 2 minutes and 35 seconds left. He's going to have one more opportunity, or maybe 2 more opportunities if he's got the fuel and the tires to set a faster lap. So we hop on to Abner Pena, driving the Porsche. Porsche should look really good in the middle sectors, the tail end of sector 1 and beginning of sector 2. As Pena back onto the start-finish straight, let's watch and see what his lap's going to be. 46.0242. That is an improvement on his fastest lap, but it's not enough to get the position from Portis. Very, very close. Ooh, as we see a rookie, I think that's probably a rookie driver, off the track there. See if we can see who that is. Doesn't look like it's Reed. Just looking at all the drivers here. Let's go to Louis Sands in the Cat Racing Ferrari. Only 45 seconds left in qualifying for our drivers. Rivera's in the pits now. Looks like he's not going to get another chance. He's going to have to be happy with what he's got so far. That being said, he has improved his time. Fastest lap before was a 45.8. Now he's a 45.4. So getting a little closer to Larson there. And Louis there, I believe, proves his time to a 50.992. On the back straight now, we've got our friend Glenn Pinio. We'll come back to him as we watch KP move into the pits there. He's going to duck out of that lap. Number 80 car of Matt Long. He comes across the final 2 turns. Right behind him, 649 car of JP Belanger. And Long will not improve. Belanger will not improve. Well, he will improve, but it's not enough to get the next positions. 3 through 6 in this pro category, all within a small margin there, all within a tenth of a second. Jonathan Clifford here. He's going to be hoping for something better. Can he deliver? Across the line he goes. And that's going to be a P3 for Jonathan Clifford right on the last lap. good performance from him with the Nunez crossing the line. He'll improve as well going into P4. Some really close battles in qualifying here in our pro category, separated by small margins across the board. But there you have it, folks. There's our qualifying. Larson takes our pole position, followed by, let me just get into a better view here. Let's get into a better camera so we can see everyone's cars. Larson, Rivera, Clifford, Nunez, Portis, Pena, Belanger, Lloyd, Dubé, Easton, Wolf, Flores, who will lead our semi-pro silver category, Collis with a nice lap to put him into P2 in the class, Beaudry, Fletcher, Pinio, Chase Gordon, who leads our rookie class, Pitch, Rustin, Lung, Rodman, Nicholson, Jean, Maurer, Reed, Easterling, Swearingen, Sands. Okay, gotta make sure I say Mugarian. There we go. Mouton and Attenbury. There you have it, folks. 31 drivers on the grid to start tonight's race. Indeed, in the chat, we say tonight's going to be a good one. I wholeheartedly agree that this will be a good one. Like I've mentioned before when I got into the chat here, this is going to be a very different race than last week. Last week, 65 minutes at Paul Ricard. Everyone had one mandatory pit stop. There was some tire management, obviously, and a lot of management staying close to the driver ahead of you. But in terms of the tires itself, you could abuse them a little bit more. That extra 10 minutes or, in the 65-minute race, a lot of people opted to pit, right about the middle half of the race, middle part of the race, because that's where your tires are really going to be starting to hurt. And even before that, your lap times will start to decrease. But tonight, nobody has a mandatory pit stop. It's going to be a very different ball game for all of our drivers tonight. And I just realized I mixed two things there, ball game and drivers, but it's going to be a very different race for our drivers tonight. And it's going to be more about tire management. It's going to be about race management in a very different way. When you're battling with someone on track with no mandatory pit stops, this is track position. Pretty much everything you're battling for is going to be track position. So it's really important for drivers to make smart decisions to not damage their car, but also you need to judge whether it's worth going for that, when it's going to be worth going for that move, because if you don't go for that move, you're going to be stuck behind the driver ahead for who knows how long. And maybe you make a move and you don't go all the way into it and commit to it. That's going to ruin your tires, and it's going to make that next move just a little bit harder. So our drivers are really going to need to be smart, and if they're going to go for the move, they need to be sure that they can do it, and they're going to need to commit. And it's going to be up to the drivers to stay really clean tonight, because there's no pit stop as a safety net for them tonight. Everything that happens on track, it's all about the lead lap here. It's all about staying within the drivers that are in your class, that you qualified nearby. You just want to stay close to those guys and battle it out with them and try and get a position where you can. Snetterton being, turn one at Snetterton here being the kind of turn that it is, doesn't always bode well for moves in the first turn. But if you can set yourself up for a move into turn two, if you're careful, you can also set some up into, you can set some moves up into the infield portion of this track, that second hairpin. There's possibilities for moves if you can stay close enough. But that's going to take a lot of managing from drivers to make sure that they stay close enough in these opening parts of the track. With that hairpin on turn 2, things are going to compress a lot, and then they're going to open up a lot. It's going to be very tricky. It's going to be very tricky, and it'll be really interesting to see how our drivers manage that. As we can see here, drivers coming down the back straight. Single file still. Going to be asked shortly to get into 2 rows. Larson will be on the inside, which, to be honest, here may not be the better side. First, turn 1 is really tricky. For the first part of the turn, it really helps to be a little further outside, but for the second part, it's a lot better to be closer to the inside. And if you don't switch from outside to inside going into that turn, it can be really hard to hold your line. So Rivera and Larson probably know that. Almost guarantee they know it. Because if I'm thinking of it, they have to be, or at least one of them does. As we come down the start-finish straight here, drivers will line up side by side. Everyone's passed. And the light will go green any moment here. And here we go. 45 minutes at Snetterton just begins. This is round 2 of the Galaxy Tour. Larson will plant himself right in the middle. Gets a really good start on the race there. Ricardo just going to try and slot right in behind. A car off track there. A little bit of an incident there in the back. But we'll stick here. It doesn't look like it's too crazy so far, and everyone seems pretty clean. Ricardo just trying to stick with the best he can going into the sector 2 here. And everyone's just kind of lining up trying to stay safe. Looking at any losses and gains here, it looks like Flores gains a position on Wolf. That'll move him ahead. Rustin gains a position on pitch. Maurer gains 2 positions. Matt Lung drops back quite a bit. Looks like he was part of that incident at the beginning of the turn there. So we watch Rivera dipping his toes into the dirt there as they come down the back straight. An answer to one of our viewers there, Boss. This is actually a PC league. So I think all of us are PC drivers. As we come around the carousel here, Larson holding a commanding lead now. Let's look at the gaps. Looks like he's about half a second ahead of Rivera, but Rivera's sticking close the best he can here. And he'll gain a little bit of time down this start-finish straight. Fastest lap from Larson, but again, first lap of the race doesn't really matter too much. Looks like everyone's staying fairly clean as we see Belanger in the background going off the track. Holds the car though. Taking a look at some of our battles here, we got Lloyd and Wolf duking it out. Looks like, I believe Lloyd's lost a few positions there, last 4 positions indeed. Looking to catch Calvin Wolf ahead of him. Wolf didn't have the best race last week, but he looks like he's in form this week in that McLaren. Ooh, and we have a bit of an incident there. That's Nicholson spinning around into the second hairpin there. As he tries to get back on track, and Another one of our rookie drivers there. I think that's Mouton there. Just trying to manage. Rustin lost a few positions at the start of the race. He's looking to get back into it. Looks like a little bit of damage on the front of that Lamborghini. Larson now with the fastest lap of 46. That's much more like it. Apologies, had to get a drink of water there. Move into our pro division here. We've got Nunez, Clifford, Portis, and Pena all awfully close here. These guys all qualified very close together, so it doesn't surprise me that they're close together here in the race. I don't believe anyone's gained or lost positions up here, and they're really going to be just buying their time. Ooh, and we see a incident there. That was somebody running into Dubé there as he tries to get back on track. Don't know who that was. I think that might have been Lloyd, who just outbraked himself a little bit and ran into the back of Dubé there. That was wild to see that happen. It's not only going to damage the front of his car. The pit window is open, but there is no mandatory pit stop, remember. Looks like they just forgot to disable that. And now that I say that, I am going to check just to make sure that I didn't get this wrong. I'm almost certain that it is no mandatory pit stop. Indeed, there is no mandatory pit stop for our drivers. So continuing to watch our pro drivers here. Let's go back to Beaudry here with Wolf right ahead, Fletcher behind. A train of semi-pro and pro drivers following Dubé and Pitch there. Dubé getting run into, moves back a ways. Going to be itching to get some of those positions back. As you can see, the drivers are just looking to slot in wherever they can. As looks like Dubé is really eager to get back up into the running a bit there. In the process, goes over some of the curbing and goes wide into Hamilton there. That's going to give the car behind him Pitch and opportunity possibly to make a move, but he's not close enough. Pinio here taking a lot of speed down to the back straight, and it looks like a really good turn there for him as they move down the back straight. As the drivers kind of slinky up here into the tricky right-left, or left-right, sorry. Larson now with another fastest lap of 46.1, looking really good. In great form, he's already pulled ahead quite a bit. You know, it's going to be a tricky one here to find where the action is going to be, because I think a lot of our drivers are going to try to be fairly conservative with their moves here. I think it's going to get really dicey once we see some lap traffic get into the mix here. And looking at some of the cars that I see here, Looks like lap traffic might happen a little bit sooner rather than later. We've got a few drivers in our rookie division that are already quite a ways back. As Belanger is looking for a move on Pena here, getting awfully close. Last couple laps, Belanger has made up quite a lot of space there. And these drivers have spread out a bit. Behind Belanger is Easton, and then behind Easton is our leader in the semi-pro category, and that is Carlos Flores, looking excellent in that McLaren tonight. Behind him is Eric Lloyd. Gonna have to watch that over again. We got an incident here. Pinio and Collis. Larson with the fastest lap. And let's actually take a look at that incident here if we can. Let's take a look here. This is the Sean Collis incident here. Oh, and it looks like, you know what's going to happen here. Pinio's going to take too much speed. He's going to bump him in the back there. And that's what's going to cause it. So probably going to be a little bit of a penalty there for Glenn, sadly. Got another incident here. Number 5 and number 242. That's some of our rookie drivers, Jean and Reed, having an incident there. Kaylor Nicholson in the mix. Here's Pena defending Belanger. Belanger getting close down the back straight here, looking to just tuck in. Looks like Pena took a little bit more speed, but the top speed of that BMW will really show here. This is not a place where he's going to really want to make a move, I don't think. He's going to slot in behind. There's Kaylor Nicholson trying to battle with who I believe the number 5 car ahead of him is Dustin Reed. Not a battle for class here, but right behind him is, looks like my autopilot software is being a bit silly there. Just because people are crossing the start finish line, we got a driver in the pits. It's Nunez in the pits. Looks to have had an issue. Actually, let's take a look and see if there's, looks like there was an issue. Not sure exactly what that was though. Let's go back and take a look. 99 car. It's not correct though. There's Nunez there in the pits. Let's go back to Belanger battling it with Pena. No moves made yet. Just trying to stick with the best he can. And looks like we've got a move here. Rodman overtakes Collis. I think Collis made a bit of a mistake there. Looks like Pitch is trying to get ahead of Pinio there. Rodman will get a little closer with that battle going on. And you can see there's some damage, a good bit of damage on the front of Glenn's car there. See, that's the tricky part of this track there. You know, you have to watch out for those braking zones or else you're going to run into the car ahead of you. You got to be focused the whole time. And especially there, you really just need to hold your brakes or maybe even risk going off the line just so you don't run into the car ahead of you. That one was an interesting one because it didn't look like Pinio lost control of the car at all. It was just outbraked himself a little bit, I guess. So I don't know if there was any opportunity to hold down the brakes a little bit more or maybe veer offline a little bit to avoid. Again, since you're in the braking zone, turning is obviously much harder, but not impossible. So it's hard to know, especially in that section. You know, you're already kind of uneasy in the car. Trying to go quick left to right. You're kind of unsettling the car as it is. So probably a bit of a combination of just outbraking himself and the instability of the car naturally in those braking zones. Taking a look out ahead here, it looks like Larson's already reached our lapped cars here. He's got Mouton behind. Currently sitting 3 seconds ahead of Rivero, though. Looking at Clifford and the gang here, it looks like Clifford's pulled away. Portis is away as well. Looks like there was an incident there. We've got some braking markers all over the track there. As our lead drivers pull away there. And it looks like behind, Belanger's made a move on Pena. And that moves Belanger into P5. Looks like there may have been a small incident that caused that to happen. Maybe a little bit of contact. I think we can go back and see that happen. So here we are. Here's the move. It looks like Pena got a little bit wide there into the final turn. Gives Belanger the opportunity. And they have a little bit of contact there. Just a bit down the straight. Nothing too crazy. Causes Pena to back out. Yeah, that's just a racing incident there. A little bit of rubbing of the doors there. Nothing too crazy. And looks like Belanger is trying to make a little defensive move there and heads back. And now they've got the lapped car ahead of them. Oh, and that's going to be actually really good for Belanger, although it does appear to let him by. Awfully close, the two of these drivers. Does give Belanger a little bit of breathing room, though. Let's head back to Fletcher here on Beaudry ahead. Fletcher's got Dubé behind him, making a bit of a comeback drive. While Flores is quite a ways ahead of these two drivers for the lead of the class. This is for podium positions here. And got Dubé right behind into the braking zone. Dubé's going to go into the inside, and looks like Fletcher's going to have to give up that position. And it may be the rookie driver of Chase Gordon comes in behind, but going to think better of it. That's really not his battle, honestly. Although I can imagine Gordon might be moved up into semi-pro. I thought he would be moved into semi-pro at the end of last race, given his speed. But that's just not the case yet. So Fletcher lost a little bit of time there, quite a bit of time actually, to Simon Beaudry. Beaudry holding down P2 in class. Pinio's got P4 in class. He does have a possible penalty coming though with that bump on Collis. Looking back at Collis too, seeing where he's at currently, 5 seconds behind Rodman. Quite a ways back from where he started. He's just going to be looking to get back into it. Another driver who's made a good comeback so far is driver behind him, Matt Lung. Fell back quite a bit at the end of at the beginning of the race. Now is up 1 from where he started. Our biggest gains of the night, if I look, is actually Rodman himself here, up 4 positions from where he started the race. Kind of in his own little race here, with 25 minutes left to go. Driver's kind of just getting into a groove here. Now with everything kind of spreading out, not a lot of opportunities for some major moves. Yellow flag for the number 6 car. Number 6 of Corey Mouton. Taking a look at him off track here. Looking like he's just trying to let some other drivers by. Went off track to make it happen, but looks like everything is clean so far. Let's head back up here. Looks like Dubé has already moved. Dubé's already moved up close to Beaudry here to make a move. Into the infield section we go. See if he's going to get close enough. Don't think he's going to get close enough here in this braking zone. Unless, and nope, that's not going to happen there. Gets a good exit though, so maybe down the start finish or start across the back straight, he might get that move done. Got an incident with number 5, Reed. Between Reed and that's Curtis Rustin. Rustin not seeming to have the best race so far. Lost 6 positions from where he started, and looks like he's just struggling out there to gain some of these positions. Back up to Dubé here. He has made the move on Beaudry, now aiming to take on Wolf ahead for the battle in class. Let's watch him. We are getting closer and closer to the halfway point of this race. 22:30 is going to be the halfway portion, with our drivers having completed 12 laps so far. Twelve and a half, so it looks like we're going to be about 25 laps this race. Let's take a look at some of the other friends that we have. Looks like Pinio's dropped back a few places. Let's see see where some of our good friends of ZRL are at. Mauer's making a pit stop currently, probably getting some damage repaired. Mugarian, haven't seen much from him. Currently gained 3 positions on the day. Currently sitting P5 in the P5 in the standings for the class. Louis Sands ahead of him, currently 2 seconds ahead. We'll see. Looking at the lap times here, looks like last lap Martin had him on pace, so I bet he's hoping that it's only a matter of time before he can attack Louis and get that position. Nunez is back on track after looks like he had maybe some technical issues. I want to say that might have been technical issues because I don't think he got himself into any trouble. I think he left and rejoined as well, so good to see him back on the track. You know, that's one thing I do like about a lot of the drivers here is that they'll come back after incidents like that. Incident between number 99 and the number 80 car Matthew Lung. Let's go back on that. This looks like Pinio and Lung right ahead into the braking zone, and looks like everything's clean there. And just outbrakes himself again. Looks like Glenn's just not having a good night tonight. I'm not going to lie. Looks like 2 incidences of him just running right into the back of another driver. That's going to move Lung back down a few positions after regaining so many. And it's also going to be bad for Pinio as well. Go to our admins 720S here, Sean Collis on his own here. Doesn't really have anyone to race against. Next driver ahead of him, Rodman, currently sitting 7 seconds ahead. And there's Dubé overtaking Wolf for a positioning class there. Dubé now just down 1 from where he started the race. Now he's going to look to attack Flores, maybe even get up to Lloyd. And if you remember, Lloyd's the one who I believe rear-ended him into this very corner coming up here. That caused him to drop back so far. Well into the halfway portion of the race here. Just want to remind everyone that, well, first I want to say thank you for everyone for joining us tonight for this race. And one moment while I sneeze. Good. Muted myself just in time so you didn't have to hear that. Anyway, thank you so much for joining and for all your support of Zealous Racing League. If you could and haven't already, please like and subscribe because that does actually go a long way to help us out. And share with your friends, share with your family, share with anyone who might like racing, because that's what we got here. We got some racing for all of you to indulge in. And if you're looking to get into some sim racing yourself, feel free to join our Discord page. That's going to have a link in our description, or it's going to have a link in our not description, but on the main our main page for our YouTube channel. That's where you're going to be able to go to get all of the latest up-to-date information on Zealous Racing League. That's going to be on the Discord channel there. So if you're interested, feel free to join. You know, we have people who do race in the league, but we also have a lot of people who We also have a lot of people who are just fans of the league that um, some fans of the league who just come in and we talk racing in general. Got a message from Bartlett there. A few drivers should get bumped up in class. Gordon carries good pace along with Flores, maybe? Yeah, that's a good point. Flores didn't have as good of a race last race, but he has historically shown enough pace in the to possibly be in the pro class. Um, I think Flores has had some inconsistency, especially recently. Oh, we have a car off there, and Dubé is gonna try to avoid, and I think he does. But yeah, Flores has had some consistency, and especially in the last few seasons, where the that line between where the pro class ends and the semi-pro class begins has been very narrow in the last few seasons. Um, ever since we have started doing the pro semi-pro like differentiation, there's always been a few drivers who do toe that line in between the two. And I think for a lot of our admins, it's a matter of, okay, well, you see a driver like maybe Wolf and Pitch, why aren't they in semi-pro? Well, it's because they've been racing for so many seasons with us. Um, we know that they could do the pace if they really wanted to, um, but they're mostly in it to have fun. Since they have the seniority, though, they go into pro. Semi-pro, there's you know there's a good reason to there could be a good reason to put Flores into pro because he's been with ZRL for quite a few seasons now, almost as long as I have, I think. Maybe a little less long. Uh, I don't know. I don't think he's been in ZRL for a while now. So, he's had some really good performances. Sure, uh, last race you maybe had a few issues, bumping into him. But even last season, when I would say Flores was one of my closest competitors in the last couple seasons, um, some races he'd be right on me, and in others he would be nowhere close to me. Um, so, but then I say that, but then there's other drivers in the semi-pro category who would be the same way. And then there's me, who they were thinking about putting me into pro the next time I race. Well, I've also struggled with inconsistencies as well. Part of that is because we've moved into more of these semi-class, like these class-based racing. There's been a lot more rookies who have joined us, and they haven't gotten up to speed as fast. I'm just going to be very blunt with it. They haven't gotten up to speed, and they haven't learned their craft yet. So we've had issues with some of the um, we've had issues with some of the rookies in the past. Um, ruining races for upper class drivers who are in greater classes than themselves. Um, Now, ZRL, we try to rectify that with like saying, hey, you need to be meeting minimum lap times based off your class. Hey, you need to maybe put in some practice, and you need to log that. And if you don't show an improvement, there's going to be some penalties for you if you continue this kind of racing behavior. We're in it for fun. We don't want this to be ruined for us. So we're really trying to, promote a clean racing environment, but we're also trying to make sure that um, these drivers can improve. And a good example, like you mentioned, Chase Gordon here, uh, absolutely rapid in the rookie class. I don't think he belongs, but on SimGrid, he might show up as a rookie driver because he hasn't used SimGrid a lot. Maybe he's coming from another sim, and it's not really allowed to show that. Well, you know, we can move him up ourselves probably, manually. Um, but you don't really know that until you see someone race a bit. Chase is new to ZRL. We've never seen him race before. So far, what I'm seeing of Chase is he's an excellent driver. Probably deserves to be in the semi-pro category and would be a very good contender there. And as you can see here, we've got some really great racing within our semi-pro category, along with some pros here. It's I believe Beaudry, or actually no, that's Wolf in the lead of this group, with Fletcher, Pitch, and then Gordon right behind. But yeah, and that Travis, you bring up a good point there. I think a lot of people struggle with racecraft because a lot of times people who come into sim racing, the racing that they've played in the past has been like Forza, Gran Turismo, a lot of single player racing where the bumping doesn't really matter. You can rub a little bit, you can beat up the car a bit, and it doesn't really matter as much. But you move into a league like Zealous, or you move into a sim like, let's set, of course, a Competizione. You can't do that anymore. You have to take it, you know, a little bit more seriously, because if you damage your car, it's going to really impact your performance. And also, a lot of people use these, like a lot of people who are racing in ACC, they race in leagues or they race in like LFM, and contact matters there. It affects your race and it affects the races of those around you. So being safe is a skill that pretty much everyone has to learn, and I was not good at it at the beginning. I still struggle sometimes because I get a little fiery on track, but um, you know that's something we all have to learn, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I just noticed here, this little group of cars here, all Aston Martins. We got a V12, and I think we've got a V12, and we've got two V8s. I think Pitch is in the V12. As we see them jockeying for position here, that's Pitch moving ahead of Fletcher. And Slim brings up a good point there too. How serious do some of us want to take it? I think I think in ZRL we do a fairly good job of like serious versus not serious, um, and I think it's more of an individual thing where where we really struggle is when we're trying to promote a clean racing environment, and when there isn't a clean racing environment, that's where things get frustrating. I know last season I had a lot of troubles with some specific rookie drivers ruining my races after I was having a really good shot of possibly even winning a race. Actually, my first chance to win a race, it was ruined by a rookie driver last season. Now, I was mad mostly because there was nothing I could do to change that situation, or I was mad at mostly the rookie for making the mistake. But at the end of the day, I have to let it go, roll off. I have to let it roll and have to keep going. Um, not every driver can say that though, and we have seen some drivers get pretty fiery in certain situations. Um, when things don't go their way. Close little battle here. 8 minutes left. Had a nice little chat there. Thank you, Travis, for a great little prompt. Could go off on a bit of a tangent there in the middle of the race here today. So we watch our drivers. Let's take a look at the field. We got Larson up here. Not really too much going on for him. Just trying to keep it nice and clean as they come down the start-finish straight here. There he is. I think he just flashed his lights a little bit there and said hi. Looks like he's got this one in the bag. Behind him, Rivera now just getting to turn one. Pretty solid race for him as well, just holding P2 fairly comfortably. Same with Clifford there, holding P3 fairly comfortably, although behind him, we do have a bit of a battle here. And that's Belanger and Portis for P4. And, oh, looks like Belanger is looking for that move. Portis holds him off. Pena behind them. Shoot, we might have to come back to this fairly quickly so we don't miss anything. But I do want to take stock here. We've got Belanger, Pena right behind them. Easton in his own little race here, looking really good. Lloyd might be getting a penalty at the end of this race, but we'll have to see. Dubé has had a nice comeback drive, is now behind Lloyd, but he's got a lot of track to still make up. Flores leads the way in the class, in his semi-pro class, with Simon Beaudry behind, who's got a nice gap to the drivers behind. Drivers behind, though, are not in his class. That's Wolf and Pitch in that little group that we were just watching. Fletcher and Chase Gordon slide in behind. Further up the road, we've got Dale Rodman, and again, further up from him is Sean Collis. Larson is Max Verstappen. That is kind of true, though. He is our analog of Max Verstappen in this league. But there we have Kaylor Nicholson having a fairly good race for the semi-pro category, and Matt Lung is behind him here catching. Then we have Glenn Pinio. Had a bit of a rough race so far, but seems to be holding on. Zoik Jean, up 2 from where he started. Currently sitting P2 in class, having a nice little race here. Right behind him is Dustin Reed. Behind Reed is the Porsche of Easterling in the semi-pro category. Then we have Curtis Rustin, Louis Sands, battling it out with Martin Mugarian. A couple of good battles going on here at the end of the race here for those last few positions. We've got Maurer behind them. Further up the road, though, we've got Swearington having a bit of a rough day here at Snetterton. Similar with Corey. Not having the best of days here in Snetterton as he lets some drivers by. Actually, I think he's just trying to let drivers by so he's not causing any issues. There you have Kevin Attenbury. Looks to be having some issues there with his car. A lot of damage on the front of his BMW. And then last but not least, we've got Jose Nunez. I think he had some technical issues that were causing some problems there. Let's move back to this battle here in the semi-pro, or in the pro category. That's Belanger and Portis here. Portis looks on the inside to block off a move by Belanger there. He's going to have to hold the inside line there, and he does so very well. It's going to prevent a move from Belanger here, and it's probably going to protect him for this middle sector here. Like I mentioned, they're pretty close in the that middle sector. Looks like that final turn there really, that final turn in sector in that middle stadium section is what there we have Belanger going all over the place. Swearington on the inside, or on the outside there, lets him by. Looks like no issues so far. This lap traffic will play into this quite a bit. It's going to be a bit dicey. Looking down, we've got Rustin and Mugarian. I think that and we missed it, but Mugarian does move ahead of Louis Sands there for P4 in class. Back to Portis and Belanger here. And again, going defensive. This is just going to have to be the game that Portis plays here in the last minute and 30 seconds here. Ooh, getting really close. Almost a bit of a touch there. And let's see. Looks like it doesn't show up as a touch. But Dustin Fletcher moves ahead of Calvin Wolf there. And it looks like actually both Gordon and Fletcher move ahead of Wolf and Pitch. A little bit of a swap. Going back to Portis and Belanger here. Looks like Portis was able to gain a little bit more of a gap in that last part of on that last lap. Indeed, he does pull a little bit greater gap on Belanger, gives himself some breathing room as they go into what will be the final lap of the race here. As Larson is now in the infield. With him in the infield, that means he crosses the line. That will be the end of the race. So if Belanger wants to make a move, now is the time. Wolf moves ahead of Fletcher. Looks like there was some actually there was some contact between what I believe was Pitch and Wolf. Gordon moves into P12 overall. That's a good performance from him. Closest battle on track now is the Belanger and Portis fight as they go down the back straight. We'll watch this as they cross the line. Larson looks like he's going to be coming away with the win as he's going around the carousel currently. Only a few more turns for Belanger to make his move. Is he going to do it? And if he is, when? As he just tries to hang in. There's Larson with the winning banner right there. Rivera is going to come in behind with Clifford. Then it's going to be Portis and one other driver. Is it going to be Portis? Is it going to be Belanger? And it looks like Portis will hold off Belanger for the 4th place right there. And Belanger will get 5th. Pena right behind him will get 6th. Lloyd coming in 7th. Probably going to have a bit of a penalty though. And he might move back in the standings. Put Easton in 7th. Easton now right behind him, 7th and 8th. Dubé having a nice comeback drive there. Moves up into P9. Flores with the win in the semi-pro category. That should be a pretty handy win for him as we see some movement as things are happening behind. But that's going to be Flores. And behind, we did have one car lose a bunch of positions there. Don't know who that was. I think that might have been. Let's see if I'm missing someone. Beaudry goes into the pits, and not sure what happened there, but Beaudry had to move into the pits. I think he was right behind Flores though. Here we have Rodman crossing in 13th, Collis 14, 15 for Lung. Pinio crossing the line here with Kaylor Nicholson right behind. Pitch, who may have run out of gas, moves down quite a bit. Easterling already crossed the line. Looking at anyone else, looks like everyone has crossed the line as far as I can tell. And there, I believe you have it, folks. Just gotta wait until the game decides that the round is done so I can show you the final results of the night. And if I return actually to the garage here, if I look at the timetables for the race, it does indeed look like may have been a bit of an issue with some of our drivers. Is it still trying to reconcile who is won? I wonder if one of the drivers maybe went into the pits a bit early. There it is. Timetables. That should be the correct timetables now, and indeed, there we go. That's the right timetables right there. So, let's go to the race, and I'll show you all the overall results. Let me turn off some of my overlays so that you can see everything there. We have tonight's results. We've got Larson, Rivera, and Clifford for your podium in the Pro class. Congratulations to all of them. Larson will come away with the fastest lap of the race as well. Behind him, we have Flores. And looks like Beaudry did have an issue there on the last lap and did not finish the race. So that's Flores for the win, with with Rodman getting getting second place. Uh, you're right, slowly moving up through the class there. Rodman will get a P2 in class. Collis will get P3. Lung, Pinio, Nicholson, um, then Easterling, Beaudry, Fletcher, and Ruston. Didn't go through the pros there. The pros was after the podium was Portis, Belanger, Pena, Lloyd, Easton, Dubé, moving down to Wolf, Pitch, who I think lost some fuel, Nunez, who maybe had a technical issue, and then last but not least, the rookie class. Chase Gordon comes across the line with another win. Good performance from him. Great performance from him. We've got Dustin Reed with a P2 performance and Zoic Jean, who will get P3 in his debut performance for ZRL. Congratulations to him. Behind him, we've got Mugarian, Sands, Swearingen, Attenbury, and Moten in the rookie class. And that, my folks, is all she wrote. Was a fairly crazy race there at the end. A lot of battles there at the end that we weren't really expecting to see. A lot of movement even in the last lap as things were happening. Couldn't even keep up with all of them. So, uh, knew this one was going to be very different, and indeed it was very different from our race last week at Paul Ricard. Had some excellent wheel-to-wheel action from some of our drivers from Belanger, Portis, Pitch, Gordon, Fletcher, all of them. Good race from them. Next week, we'll be back at it with a 60-minute race at the Hungaro Ring. We'll be back. We'll be back with some action with a pit stop ballast for our leading drivers in the class. That'll move them back through the pack during their mandatory pit stops. So that should hopefully shake things up quite a bit. Should make things fairly interesting, and looking forward to that race next week. But anyway, folks, that's your race tonight here at here at Snetterton. Shout out to everyone who did run out of gas. I had a few of those there at the end. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race, though. Hope you enjoyed the commentary. Please like, subscribe, and if you're interested, you can join our Discord. There's a link on the home page of the YouTube channel. That's where you're going to find all the most up-to-date information on ZRL, and that's where you can communicate with the fine admins and folks we have racing here today. But anyway, my name is Shim. I've been your host for tonight's race. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you the commentary today, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful week. Peace.
One month today, the second left but lost my way, and now I turn through heather wounds. When Jenny says she's seen it all, she means from here to down the hall, and she is right in her own way. But I'm running out of strength. Yet I ruin everything. But I'm running out of strength. Turn back and you'll still find me. Yet I ruin everything. Turn back and you'll still find me. At the premiere, I don't know when time begins. I don't know when time begins. At the premiere, I don't know when time begins. I don't know when time begins.